Good evening. Welcome to EmoNews, every moment online. I'm your presenter, Rick Francis, and this is the news broadcast for the 12th of June, 2026. In tonight's news headlines, Dominica expands disaster preparedness education in primary schools. Prime Minister Pierre reviews hurricane season preparedness. Grenada and Republic of Korea reaffirm strong bilateral ties. Farmer Field School lead farmer training program launched in Tobago. And former South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol sentenced to 30 years in prison. Details of these stories and more coming up next. Stay with us. Welcome back. In local news this evening, as Dominica continues its journey toward becoming the world's first climate resilient nation, Israel Aid Dominica, in collaboration with the Ministry of Education, has officially launched the K and Kellan Early Childhood Disaster Risk Reduction ECDRR Toolkit Level 2 in 21 of the island's most vulnerable primary schools. The program targets students in grades 1 to 3 and uses interactive digital tools, including games, puzzles, and music to teach disaster preparedness in a childhood-friendly way. Originally developed in Dominica in 2017, the initiative has grown into a sustainable curriculum that has been successfully expanded to St. Lucia and St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Chief Education Officer Jeffrey Blaze highlighted the importance of safe, child-friendly learning environments in supporting both education and psychosocial well-being. Meanwhile, Israel Aid Dominica noted that the program has reached a stage where local communities have full ownership, ensuring its long-term sustainability without reliance on external support. Daniel Ali Shinford is the Boxer of the Year 2026. Ali said he was introduced to the sport while living in St. Thomas through the influence of renowned boxer Julian Jackson and quickly developed a passion for boxing. Ali was among the recipients awarded last evening at the Dominica Boxing Association Awards ceremony.
My boxing journey began after I met a man named Julian Jackson, who was a three-time world champion and Hall of Famer. I met him by accident, really. But after the first day, he told me if I stay out of trouble and I stay focused, I'm going to be a world champion. He took me under his wing and he believed in me so much that I decided, you know what, I'm going to give myself to this thing. I'm going to go all the way. And it was a pivotal moment in my life, you know, of which most people didn't agree with. Most people thought I was ridiculous. Most people thought I was being unrealistic. But I'm just thankful that it didn't take 70, 100 years like Abraham for God to reward my faith. And as that's been a long journey, a short journey as well in some ways, and I'm just thankful. Winning Boxer of the Year more than anything else just goes to show that all the people who say I was unrealistic and ridiculous and all these things, that they were wrong, and that putting your faith in the Lord is the only thing that makes life worth living. And I'm thankful that it turned out well. I'm thankful that right now we're in the middle of preparation for the CAC Games in July, It's in Santo Domingo. It's my first international tournament. I'm very excited to put Dominic on the map. I'm very excited to come back with the gold medal and not come back with anything else. I made up my mind already. We ready. We getting ready more and more, and that's what people should look forward to and look out for. And yeah.
Meanwhile, Tahir Tyson, who recently passed away after a courageous battle with cancer, was posthumously honored with two awards. It was a very emotional time for his parents, who accepted the awards on his behalf, reflecting on the positive influence he had on the sport and those around him during his brief but memorable boxing journey. The Parent of the Year Award, recognizing unwavering support for the development of a child in the sport, went to Schumann and Janet George. Their son walked away with the School Boy Boxer of the Year Award and shared the Bout of the Year Award with fallen comrade Tahir Tyson. Janet George reflected on her experience supporting her son's boxing journey.
To be honest, when he came first and told me, mommy, I would like to do boxing, I was scared. There's something going on that I didn't know about because boxing is kind of physical. But he was introduced to it by a friend. He'd like to try it. So I said, okay, well, it's going to be discipline. So we're going to make you stronger. And I have to know what boxing entails. I was researching myself.
Some of the other awardees of the evening were Schoolboy Boxer of the Year, Wyatt George; Junior Boxer of the Year, Hassani LaRock; Youth Boxer of the Year, Shelton Bonney; Most Improved Boxer, Female, Michaela Hosford; Most Improved Boxer, Male, Jaden Langley; Most Disciplined Boxer, Female, Praise Ojo; Most Disciplined Boxer, Male, Odell Prosper; Youngest Boxer, Myron Esprit. The Boxing Association recognized many businesses and organizations who supported them throughout the year and expressed their sincere thanks for the investment in the lives of the nation's youth through this beloved sport. Also in local news, a panel discussion held yesterday on wellness tourism in Dominica left a lasting impression on economics and sustainability students of the Dominica State College, many of whom described the experience as both educational and thought-provoking. They found that the discussion provided a valuable opportunity to learn from experienced professionals while gaining a deeper understanding of an emerging area of the tourism industry. Here are some of the students who shared their thoughts with EmoNews.
I found it very exciting and super excited as well for the future of what eco-sustainability looks like for Dominica. We heard a lot from the panelists. Many things were discussed. What stuck with me the most was the educational aspect of it. I also believe that we need to, broaden our educational awareness of sustainability and healthy living in our island because, as many of the panelists mentioned, it is what we have, what we know to be normal, but the focus is we're not really focusing on it as much as we should. And I'm really looking forward to seeing how we can, in the near future, continue to grow the develop recognition and to integrate awareness on sustainability on the island. There are a lot of, pre-existing businesses in wellness. Maybe just as Dr. Reynolds mentioned, if they could get the financial support to sustain or to assist in growing the initiative and that would maybe allow other young persons to be more interested in getting on board in entrepreneurship in healthy living and wellness.
Today was very informative, very interesting, very broad panel. So there was a lot of different perspectives on it, both in the economical side, both in the holistic side. So there's a nice span that you could have learned from. I think that these are panels that should be held more often. Especially one of the things that I didn't hear spoken about a lot was the mental health side of things. Not that it wasn't spoken about, but there was one particular topic that I was hoping that would have been brought up: men's mental health, because this month is Men's Mental Health Awareness Month, and I was hoping that they would have been, at least a bit of touch on there, because I don't want to say men are an endangered species, but good men. There's a lack of good men. So when you get these type of connections, it does go a long way. That holistic connection, because when you speak of things like meditation and so on and so forth, this is what you kind of lean on for strength. When he spoke on sports and bringing musicians to Dominica, that's definitely one of the ways that I can support. If you remember Montstrat had a studio. I just can't remember anybody's studio right now, but Montstrat had a studio that a lot of major artists went to produce some big albums. So Dominica can be one of those spaces where you create a studio where it's in nature. It's a relaxed environment where the artists can come and just relax. We can have athletes from around the Caribbean. We have a lot of Caribbean athletes who search for holistic remedies in the East and in the other regions, in the Asian regions, when they can just come to the Caribbean, when they can come to Dominica. So that's one of the things I think we should start to promote it in different avenues. So sports and music will definitely be one of those economic places I see we can grow in.
I believe that the session was interactive. I wish it had more like young presence of the younger generations, the upcoming generation, more of my colleagues, but everything takes time. How it would help me currently as a tourism major and taking an eco and sustainable class is that I believe that wellness tourism is an important factor of eco and sustainable, and integrating that within our tourism product here at Dominica, I believe would be a step forward, to the tourism industry and tourism overall. I'm from Granby, so I would probably say local medicine, for example, or bush teas. We have a lot of gingers, cinnamon, bay leaf, peppermint, to name it. So I believe that you would have a manufacturing plant, you package it, you make the different tea powders, etc. I believe that would be a good plan or a good business to take forward as a young person coming up.
One student raised the issue of bridging the gap between generations, particularly as it relates to the sharing of knowledge and experiences. The question sparked discussion among panelists who emphasized the importance of preserving traditional knowledge while encouraging greater collaboration between younger and older generations.
The bridge is what it's missing, the connection, from the senior or the elderly to the young people and those in between. The bridge, that's what's missing. The connection. A lot of it's just easier. We grew up with our grandparents, a lot of us, So it's just easier to learn those sort of things. A lot of young people now, you don't find them, frequenting with their grandparents. A lot of young people, you don't find them, in the countryside for the weekend. A lot of young people prefer to stay home, playing games and TikTok and so on and so forth. So I think it's a matter of finding a way to connect the generation, finding that bridge. So if we can make having more places like this, more panel discussions where we incorporate more youth. We invite football teams, we invite basketball teams, we invite the athletes, we invite, the social media people, the young social media voices. I think that's where we can begin to bridge the gap.
The students were also afforded the opportunity to tour the facilities of the Jungle Bay Eco Resort and Spa, where they gained first-hand insight into what wellness tourism entails. The visit allowed them to experience aspects of the industry while exploring its growing opportunities and potential contribution to Dominica's sustainable development. And finally, in local news, The Dominican National Conservation Trust Fund, DNCTF, hosted its second grant award ceremony earlier today at the Dominican Association of Persons with Disabilities conference facility in Goodwill. The ceremony, held under the theme Shaping the Future of Conservation, celebrated the awarding of grants under the Caribbean Regional Architecture for Biodiversity, CRAB, the grant program to support two key environmental initiatives in Dominica. The funded projects include the strengthening of Soufriere Scott's Head Marine Reserve Coral Reef Project and the Rapid Response to Lethal Yellowing Disease in Coconut Ecosystems Project. Chief Executive Officer of the DNCTF, Dr. Rhonda Linton, welcomed attendees and highlighted the importance of investing in conservation initiatives that protect Dominica's natural resources for future generations.
Biodiversity suffers, people suffer. When coconut palms are threatened by disease, communities are affected. When coral reef declines, fish, stock, tourism opportunities, and coastal protection are placed at risk. That is why conservation matters. It is not simply about protecting plants, animals, or ecosystems. It is about protecting our livelihoods, our food security, our culture, and our future as the nature island of the Caribbean. Today, through the Caribbean Biodiversity Fund, CRAB Pro Nature Grant Facility, we are investing in practical solutions that will help safeguard these invaluable resources for generations to come. Yet protecting them does not happen by chance. It happens through action, partnership, and investments.
Chairman of the DNCTF board, Albert Paul, providing an overview of the trust fund and the CRAB grant program, emphasizing the program's role in supporting biodiversity conservation efforts throughout the region.
Through the Caribbean Regional Architecture for Biodiversity, CRAB, Pro Nature Grant Facility, supported by the Caribbean Biodiversity Fund, a total of US $93,000 will be invested into two biodiversity projects here in Dominica, with additional US $10,000 dedicated to technical support and capacity building for project implementation. This project was not selected by chance. The DNCTF undertook consultations with governments, agencies, civil society, organizations, community groups, and technical stakeholders to identify priority conservation needs. The proposals were then reviewed through a rigorous evaluation process involving our donor partners and our technical advisory committee. This project selected today reflects our commitment to addressing urgent environmental challenges while strengthening community resilience and supporting sustainable livelihoods. The first project, Rapid Response to Lethal Yellowing Disease, will be implemented by the Ministry of Agriculture. Coconut palms are an iconic feature on Dominica's coastline and play an important role in biodiversity, tourism, coastal protection, and local livelihoods. The second project, Coral Reef Restoration, monitoring, surveillance, compliance within the Soufriere Scott's Head Marine Reserve, will be implemented by the Oceans Forward. The project will expand coral restoration efforts, strengthen monitoring and surveillance, and enhance protection within one of Dominica's most important marine ecosystems. Healthy coral reefs support fisheries, protect coastlines, sustain biodiversity, and contribute significantly to local livelihoods.
Representatives of the donor partners and government also addressed the gathering, reaffirming their commitment to environmental sustainability and biodiversity protection. Grant agreements were officially signed before project leaders presented details of their respective initiatives. Head of the Plant Protection and Quarantine Unit, Dayan Sot, outlined the measures that will be implemented to combat the spread of lethal yellowing disease affecting coconut palms across the island.
Ladies and gentlemen, this disease represents far more than an agricultural issue.
Coconut palms are deeply connected to the social, economic, cultural, and environmental fabric of Dominica. They support livelihoods, food security, agro-processing, tourism landscapes, biodiversity, conservation, and coastal resilience. Many of the affected areas are environmentally sensitive coastal ecosystems, already vulnerable to climate change, coastal erosion, sea level rise, and extreme weather events. The widespread loss of coconut palms therefore threatens not only farmers and rural communities, but also stability and biodiversity within these vulnerable landscapes. It is important to recognize the critical role of the plant protection and quarantine services in safeguarding Dominica's agriculture and environment. The plant protection and quarantine work often takes place quietly behind the scenes through inspections, surveillance, diagnostics, quarantine enforcement, pest monitoring, and rapid response interventions. However, these services remain one of the country's first lines of defense.
Simon Walsh of Oceans Forward Dominica presented plans for coral reef restoration and monitoring within the Soufriere-Scottshead Marine Reserve, including the expansion of coral nurseries and efforts to improve reef resilience.
So I want to start off by apologizing. I did not prepare a speech for today, and unfortunately I have to follow a very well-presented speech, so you ask for my excuses and apologies. But I'm going to give my excuse in the way of a story, and it's an exciting story. People say I like to tell stories. I deny that, but I'm going to tell a story now. Last night at 5:10, there were 4 volunteers 30 feet under the sea. One volunteer was for university intern from Oberlin University. Another one was a scuba diver leader who brings tourists to Dominica every year and has always supported our coral project. The other volunteer was myself. I'm an unpaid volunteer as Director of Oceans Forward for Coral Conservation, and Joe Gilman, my partner in the coral conservation. So why were we sitting last night at 5:10 staring at corals? Mr. Derek Theophil had been with us 2 days before that. We had sat out there for 90 minutes staring at coral, and the corals did nothing, and we went home disappointed. Last night at 5:10, between 5:10 and 5:20, a species of coral spawned. This means they made eggs. Now, that might not seem like a big deal to many people, but this is what we had been waiting for. This was the first time that we're aware in Dominica, a team of science volunteers had gone out and started to develop a coral prediction calendar for the country of Dominica. Many other countries have done it. When this has been done, it is with teams of 30 or 40 people, science teams, lab teams, divers, volunteers. We did it last night with 4 people. Okay? What that means now is that as coral reefs become threatened, and I'm going to talk about the threats, corals are further and further and further apart.
Mr. Norman Morris of the Soufriere-Scottshead Marine Reserve also spoke on the importance of strengthening protection measures for the Marine Reserve and engaging local stakeholders in conservation efforts.
New investments are being made in the SSMR every year, and I predict in probably 5 years, a lot more projects will be going on in the community on the ground. You know, we have some major hotel infrastructure there, and persons are getting involved in more activities in the MPA. We do scuba. We don't run it. We manage the operation and partner again with about 15, 20 partners who utilize the MPA. So we have four demarcated areas. Somebody was speaking about no-take zone and that type of thing. We have 4 demarcated areas. The biggest size is the fishing area, and then we have scuba diving area. We also have a nursery. We have a recreation area. So it's demarcated to various areas that the persons use, and to prevent challenges with utilization and overutilization.
The grant-funded projects are expected to strengthen ecosystem resilience, protect biodiversity, support sustainable livelihoods, and enhance Dominica's capacity to respond to environmental threats. And that's all for local news this evening. Stay tuned for regional news coming up next.
Celebrate this Father's Day with us on Saturday, June 20th. It's game time at Blast Bistro.
Father's Day special idea.
Bring dad or step up as dad in the father and son or father versus father domino showdown. Starting 5 p.m. sharp, enjoy live sports, old school hits, and pure Caribbean vibes. Grab the daddy combo. 6 beers, 8 wings for just $50.
Grab it.
Plus, shots 2 for $10, rum punch specials, and beer buckets with prizes to be won.
Prizes too.
Don't miss the action, only at Blast Bistro. Come for the game, stay for the life.
I am that.
And now for regional news. Prime Minister Honorable Philip J. Pierre convened a meeting of the National Emergency Management Advisory Committee, NEMAC, on June 11, 2026, to review St. Lucia's readiness for the 2026 Atlantic hurricane season. Held at NEMO headquarters, the meeting brought together key agencies responsible for disaster preparedness, response, and recovery. Representatives provided updates on contingency plans, resources, and coordinated measures to respond to potential emergencies. Prime Minister Pierre received reports from St. Lucia Meteorological Services, Ministry of Health, St. Lucia Fire Service, and NEMO. He emphasized the importance of preparedness, interagency cooperation, and public vigilance, while commending agencies for their efforts to strengthen national resilience and emergency response capabilities. Prime Minister Honorable Deacon Mitchell recently received a farewell courtesy call from His Excellency Sojong Kwan, Ambassador of the Republic of Korea to Grenada, as he concluded his tour of duty. During the meeting, both sides reaffirmed the strong relationship between Grenada and Korea and discussed expanding cooperation in areas including digital transformation, education, climate resilience, renewable energy, and agriculture. The government of Grenada thanked Ambassador Kwang for his service and contributions to strengthening ties between the two countries. Agricultural stakeholders in Tobago have launched Phase 2 of the Farmer Field School Lead Farmer Training Program, an initiative designed to strengthen the island's agricultural sector through training, innovation, and knowledge sharing. The program brings together extension officers, lead farmers, and development partners to improve farming practices and build capacity within the agricultural community. Officials say the initiative will help create a more resilient, productive, and sustainable agricultural sector in Tobago. The Council for Trade and Economic Development, or COTED, is a key CARICOM body responsible for promoting trade, economic development, and overseeing the CARICOM single market and economy. Made up of ministers from CARICOM member states, COTED works to strengthen regional integration, improve the production and marketing of goods and services, support sustainable economic growth, and advance areas such as transportation, energy, technology, and environmental protection. The Council also helps to shape policies that enhance CARICOM's trade and economic relations with international partners, supporting growth and development across the Caribbean. And finally, the CARICOM Secretariat welcomed a delegation from Guyana Defense Force, GDF, Senior Command and Staff Course Number 20 on Thursday, June 4, 2026, for special knowledge sharing engagement focused on regional security and cooperation. During the visit, officers participated in an interactive session with members of the Secretariat's Crime and Security Program, gaining valuable insights into CARICOM's role in advancing regional security initiatives and addressing emerging threats across the Caribbean community. The session was led by Sherwin Stevenson, Program Manager for Crime and Security, and Mauricia Stevens, Project Officer for Crime and Security. Discussions highlighted the importance of functional cooperation in tackling current and evolving crime and security challenges facing the region. As part of the visit, the delegation also toured the CARICOM Secretariat, where they learned more about the institution's role, functions, and ongoing efforts to support regional integration and development. The engagement formed part of the GDF Officers Professional Development Program and provided an opportunity to strengthen understanding of CARICOM's contribution to regional peace, security, and cooperation. And that's all for regional news this evening. Stay tuned for international news coming up next. And now taking a look at international news. Former South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol has been sentenced to 30 years in prison after a Seoul court found him guilty of charges linked to military drone operation over North Korea. The court ruled that Yoon conspired in the 2024 drone incursion into Pyongyang and found him guilty of abuse of power and aiding the enemy. Yoon has denied the allegations and is expected to appeal. The sentence follows an earlier life sentence for his role in failed martial law declaration that led to his impeachment and removal from office, triggering a snap election won by Lee Jae-myung. And finally, Thailand's royal household has announced the death of Princess Bajrakitiaba at the age of 47, more than 3 years after she fell into a coma following a collapse in December 2022 caused by a severe heart condition. The eldest daughter of King Vajiralongkorn, Princess Bajrakitiaba, was a respected lawyer, diplomat, and advocate for legal and prison reform. She served as Thailand's ambassador to Austria and worked closely with the United Nations on justice and human rights issues. Her passing is being viewed as a significant loss for Thailand's royal family and the nation. And that's all for international news this evening. Stay tuned for the sports segment coming up next.
This summer, the Caribbean's premier music experience returns. Welcome to the 28th edition of the St. Kitts Music Festival, featuring the incredible Kilani, Fantasia, Beres Hammond, Luciano, Soca King Marshall Montano, Soca Sensation Voice, and Vaughn. Dancehall giant Movado, Idonia, and the new wave, Valiant. Also featuring Massacre, Cranium, Taurus Riley, Steel Pulse, Dean Fraser and the Black Soil Band, Sanil Mir, Diani, Rodney Tatat, and Zoo. The legendary New Vibes Band International, Brandon and ASAP Band, Shelly and Signal Band, plus Edwin Yearwood and Crossfire, Rukas HE, and Garlic and the Upper Level Band. June 25th to June 27th, Warner Park Cricket Stadium, St. Kitts. Get your tickets now at stkittsmusicfestival.com. The St. Kitts Music Festival, where music meets paradise.
Welcome to the sports segment. The 2026 FIFA World Cup officially kicked off in Mexico City with a colorful opening ceremony celebrating the country's rich culture, music, and traditions. Global music superstar Shakira headlined the festivities before thousands of fans at the iconic Azteca Stadium. Following the ceremony, hosted nation Mexico began its World Cup campaign with a dramatic 2-0 victory over South Africa in front of a packed crowd. The match was marked by controversy and tension, with South Africa finishing the game with just 9 players after 2 red cards. Supporters from around the world filled the historic stadium, witnessing Mexico host World Cup action on home soil for the first time in 40 years. The victory gave the hosts a strong start to their tournament ambitions and sparked celebrations among local fans. Despite concerns in the lead-up to the tournament, including infrastructure projects, protests, and security challenges, football took center stage as the world's biggest sporting event officially got underway. With the opening match completed, attention now turns to the remaining fixtures as teams from across the globe compete for football's most coveted prize. Penville Primary School emerged champions of Zone A in the Sports Division Primary School's Netball Festival held yesterday at Benjamin's Park in Portsmouth. 5 schools competed in the exciting festival, showcasing their talent, teamwork, and sportsmanship on the court. At the conclusion of the competition, Penville Primary School secured first place with 8 points, followed closely by Roosevelt Douglas Primary School with 6 points. St. John's Primary School finished third with 3 points, while Paybush Primary School earned 2 points. With their strong performances, Penville Primary School and Roosevelt Douglas Primary School have secured qualification to the quarterfinal round, which is scheduled to take place on Tuesday, June 16, 2026. The Sports Division Primary School's Netball Festival continues to provide young athletes with valuable opportunities to develop their skills, foster teamwork, and promote healthy competition among schools in Dominica. Cricket fans across Dominica can look forward to an exciting weekend of action as the 2026 NCCU DCA Premier League continues with 3 highly anticipated matches scheduled for Saturday, June 13 and Sunday, June 14. The Signman Kainago Blasters will take on Tremors in Match 1 at the Botanical Gardens. The encounter goes off at 1 p.m. on Saturday, June 13, with play continuing at 10 a.m. on Sunday, June 14. In Match 2, the Grand Bay Cooperative Credit Union Colts will battle Convenience Plus Mao at the Grand Bay playing field. The match gets underway at 10 a.m. on Saturday, June 13, and resumes at 10 a.m. on Sunday, June 14. Match 3 will see KFC Summit Sports Club go head-to-head with Nagico Northern Stars at Benjamin's Park in Portsmouth. The contest starts at 1 p.m. on Saturday, June 13, before continuing at 10 a.m. on Sunday, June 14. The NCCU DCA Premier League remains one of Dominica's premier cricket competitions, bringing together some of the island's top clubs in pursuit of championship glory. Cricket enthusiasts are encouraged to come out and support their teams as the race for the 2026 Premier League title intensifies. And finally, in sports, the 2026 National Volleyball League continues this Sunday, June 14th, with an exciting triple header at the Massac Indoor Facility. The action gets underway at 4 p.m. in the men's Division II competition, where Club 1A takes on Sunrise. At 6 p.m., the focus shifts to the women's Division I matchup, with Celtics facing Sunrise in what promises to be an entertaining contest. The final game of the evening is scheduled for 8 p.m. and features a men's Division I showdown between Celtics and Sunrise. Volleyball fans are encouraged to come out and support their teams as the KFC and DAVA-sponsored 2026 National Volleyball League continues with another thrilling night of competition at the Massac Indoor Facility. And that's all for the sports segment this evening. Stay tuned for the weather report coming up next. And this brings us to the end of tonight's news broadcast for the 12th of June 2026. I'm your presenter, Rick Francis, and on behalf of the entire newscast, we say thank you for viewing. This is Emo Nightly News, every moment online. Have a good weekend.